Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Falls from Iron. This is our post-match review for the game that took place yesterday at London Stadium. Before we get into that, guys, please don't forget, drop a like on the stream. We really do appreciate your help there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Duke, what are they doing with that bell thing there?
You know what? I think we need to do what a lot of West Ham fans are doing. And they seem to be bashing David Moyes, so I wish them to bash the bell.
Bash the bell.
Bash the bell like
You
people
see-
are bashing Mr. Moyes.
Okay. Because obviously we had a little chat before you've come on, but I've said we'll keep chat about the match beforehand. We'll keep our powder dry, I said, didn't I? So we actually haven't spoken about the game really.
No.
Now you say about people bashing David Moyes and all that.
Move my camera.
To be fair, and I've got to sort of put my colours on the mast. Am I a David Moyes fan? Pretty much overall, yes, I would say I am. However, I do think a lot of the problems that West Ham are facing at this particular moment in time, in my opinion, are of David Moyes' own design. But that doesn't mean I can't still be a sort of like admire the work that he's done over the time he's been with us. But yesterday, I think that a lot of the problems that I saw on the field of play have to fall at his door. Make of that what you will. Hello, Larry. Hope you're well, mate. And I did put yours up as well, Tom.
Come on, Larry. It's a great day.
Leave Moyes' bell alone.
Listen. I'll leave that to Big Stu and to Mr. Nolan to be messing around with Moyes' bell.
Absolutely.
But listen, Rob. It's been a while, right, since I have seen my beloved West Ham dominated in such a way that we were through the entire game yesterday. And this is going to be one of the hardest. This is going to be harder to do for me than the Kidderminster game, because I've got to tell you now that this was awful. Like, my God. Yeah. I was talking to Steve during the first half, a couple of messages backwards and forwards to Steve 50 for those here. And we both agreed that it was arguably worse than the opening 45 against Kidderminster.
That's, well, low praise. What's the opposite of high praise? Low praise, or I don't know. It's the opposite of high praise. Yeah.
Mate, we didn't even turn up. I can read you the message. I do believe I said those exact words to Steve. I don't even think we've arrived for the first half yet. It was, hey, listen, let me get there. Hold your horses, Mr. Larry.
He'll get there, Larry. Don't worry.
Because trust me, I've got 3 players that I'm about to lay absolute waste.
They might be.
But I'm also going to pin a little bit of blame on Mr. Moyes. A little bit of what? There's going to be a little bit. Listen, he doesn't get away from this scot-free, but he's still the right man. But he still doesn't get away with this scot-free, Rob. He can't.
No, absolutely.
Right? So give me some direction. Good evening, Neil. Give me some direction with regards to where you want to go with this first half, sir. I will follow your direction, and then I'm going to go. I will
give you. You have the floor, Duke. You have carte blanche, my friend. You take this whichever direction you feel you need to, my friend. Get it off your chest.
I mean, listen. Saving grace in that first half was Big Craig. Yeah,
exactly what Ken just said.
There you go. Right. I tell you, he rocks up. He rocks up and nails it, this man. I love it. He takes a lot of pressure off of me. I'm not going to lie to you.
You know, I did the Only Fools quiz last night.
Yes, I thought I got email this morning.
He won it.
Yeah.
He won it. Yeah, I didn't even realise he was playing until right at the end, and he put a little comment in the live chat. He was at the top. He was like, "You plonker" or "You dipstick." I can't remember. And And he won it, and then right at the end he said that, you know, who he was. He revealed his hand, and I was like, oh, now it makes sense.
He knows everything about everything, this man, doesn't he? Everything about it.
He got
By the
20
way,
out of 30.
Did you receive the email this morning?
From
one of them?
Yes. I realised what I'd done. I was like, oh.
It's all right, not bad, is it? Listen, the only copyright strike is just behave yourself, stop being a twat.
Yeah, well, you know.
Listen,
yeah,
live and learn.
Made a mistake. Hands up.
Fledgling. We are a fledgling YouTube channel. Anyway.
Yeah, to be honest, we're not going to earn very much money out of that video, let's be honest. So if they want 20 pence off of us, they're welcome to it.
Have it. Listen, big Craigie D. Again, great delivery from the cross, from the free kick.
Yep.
I've actually. Anyway, great delivery. Now I have to say, I was calling for an in-swinger on the free kick. I was actually standing at the bar. Joe was working, God love her. And I was stood at the bar, top of my lungs, asking. I think it was it Ben Rama that was out there with it?
No, it was Fornals.
And I was Fornals, sorry. And I was screaming for an in-swinger, for the right footer to take it, for literally that glancing header. Larry, stop it! That glance, I was screaming for a glancing header that was going to take the ball into the far corner. Just just a bit of direction using the pace. But I knew it wasn't going to be, and I knew Cressy was going to deliver. And listen, the man didn't disappoint. It was a fantastic ball. It was a really good low trajectory cross that Dawson. I'm not quite sure, and I do need to go back and watch it again. But Larry, you're moving a full out in a minute, man. Stop it. Great low trajectory cross, and I need to go back and watch it because I'm not quite sure if the man that was meant to be marking Dawson was blocked or whether he just lost where Dawson went. Because I know Dawson started with a kind of a two-step back to look like he was going to go in and behind. I think it was Suchek. He looked like he was going to go in and behind. And then changed that direction of a run and just ran in front, got in front of Suchek with a header. And it was a really good goal. In the grand scheme of things, it was a really, really good goal.
He's in a hot run of goal-scoring form, is in the old Craigie Dawson.
Listen, he's in a hot run of goal-scoring and goal-stopping. Well, listen, someone did put that. I think it was Declan. Reece over on thing. No, Larry, listen, I'm completely on side with you, mate. It's, and then it was completely against the run of play. Let's not mess around. It was so against the run of play. They literally dominated us from minute 1 to minute 94, I think it was. And it was painful to watch. It was awful. Now, as we've kind of alluded to, we got to half time and he made the substitution that he made. Larry's alluded to it. Johnson should have started. It was all well and good.
Well, that
sitting there and going,
just getting the starting lineup there in case anybody sort of wasn't too sure. Yeah. That was David Moyes' starting lineup. I mean, sort of like just to sort of go back a pace or two. Are you happy with that lineup?
All day long. I mean, listen, I questioned the absence of Lanzini, which X quite quickly. We quite quickly announced that obviously there was an injury, or he was one of the changes due to injury, which is why Lanzini wasn't in that lineup. And I felt we missed Lanzini massively. We missed his ball retention. I don't believe one of those two up the top there would have started if Lanzini had been fit. The fact that Maximum Alan, the fact that he didn't start, I think, kind of caught Moyes on the hop a little bit.
Yeah, Mr. Osborne.
Which is why we started with.
But he didn't even travel by all accounts.
Yeah, I know, but again, Moyes has made a decision based on Sharky. Stop it.
I was going to say you're being provocative there, surely.
He is indeed persistent. You know, I think he's made a decision based on Saint Maximin. That I did when we were talking in the preview.
Yeah.
I said Fredericks to start because of the pace. There's no disrespect to Ben or Glenn, whichever one I'm going to call him this evening.
Dave.
And I get it. I get it. You know, St Maximum's. I think his ball carrying is only second to Declan Rice in the Premier League, isn't it? If my memory serves, I think he's the only other person. Or Declan Rice is the only person in front of him for ball carrying. Now, I think the right decision was that he was taken off at half time. Again, much like Masuaku, if you've got a left back and you need a left winger, you can put Masuaku in there because you don't have to come back beyond the halfway line. And I'm beginning to feel the same needs to be said about Ryan Fredericks. Now, I know that there's a couple of people in chats and things that have a big old love affair with Ryan Fredericks, and I've got no qualms with that. Again, when it was him and Soufal to combat Grealish last year, it worked. It worked. You had a defender behind Frederick. Yeah, Mike, spot on, mate. Absolutely nailed it. I didn't understand why there wasn't a couple more. Why there wasn't a couple more. I have to say, Tom, you know what? And I did say this on paper, we have a better side as far as I'm
especially
concerned.
Without Trippier and Saint Maximin, no doubt about it.
If you were to pick a starting 11 out of the two teams there, I would like to think that the only one out of that possibly would be Joe Willock. If I'm honest, he'd be the only one for me. For me, out of that 11 there, he would be the only one. Maybe Chris Wood because Antonio's donkey at the minute, but Joe Willock for definite. Forget.
We could play a Plankwood in place of Antonio at the minute, quite frankly.
Well,
let alone Chris Wood.
Hold your horses a minute. As I said to Larry, hold your horses. We're going all in a minute. In fact, I'm going all in now, Rob. Screw it. No, see, I like Joe Willock. I like Joe Willock, Tom.
Yep.
I also want to give credit to Dan Burn yesterday.
Okay.
I thought he was good yesterday. I thought he was solid. I have to say, I did
that challenge at the end on Bowen was a bit naughty.
Yeah, no, and I love the fact that Bowen got up and stood his ground against a guy that literally was the equivalent of Harry Potter starting a fight with Hagrid. It did make me chuckle, but I give props to Bowen. Listen, I've seen a lot online, okay? I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter, on Facebook. I've seen some other YouTube channels where some people have gone to town. There were three players, and I said there were definitely three players. I know someone's mentioned Fredericks. For me, there were three players that played for the most part, the entire game yesterday. Now, Thomas Souček had arguably his worst game in a West Ham shirt yesterday. Arguably,
you think it was worse than the Leicester game.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I do. I really do. I think the last two games he's been outmatched, outfought. He's just been beaten to everything, and it was painful. And the problem is, this week Declan Rice's performance suffered because of it. But David Moyes doesn't trust Alex Crowell, and David Moyes knows that Mark Noble doesn't have the legs to compete in the Premier League midfield right now. And that's the reason that Thomas Tuchel will still be one of the first names on the team sheet alongside Declan Rice in that midfield.
But in fairness to Thomas Tuchel, do you think that it's largely because I think I saw a stat that said that since January 2020 or something like that, he's played like 110 matches, and he's probably played virtually every minute of those matches. You know,
but that comes down to Alex Crowell, doesn't it? It comes down to David Moyes knowing that Alex Crowell isn't good enough to step into that role. Then why bring him in?
But then who's
going to go in on take the pick? You know, he's obviously agreed it. Is it a Moyes signing? Is it a Sully and Gold? Yeah, surprise! Literally, you know, Moyes walks into a changing room and opens up a big gold present, and there is a bit like, you know, Hugh Jackman coming out of Betty White's birthday cake. That there's Alex Crowell, and that did happen, by the way. I'm going to move in on Antonio. I'm going to save the best to last, by the way.
Ooh.
I'm going to move in on Antonio. I'm sick and tired of this guy strolling around, acting like Billy Big, and we're not getting no change out of him. Kent said, I think he mentioned it earlier, the fact that he keeps pulling wide, or was that Larry? Keeps pulling wide. Shut up, you lot out there.
Welcome, Lewisham.
Yeah, probably. And we're getting nothing back from him, Rob. And the fact that he can swan around acting like, you know, Billy Big Balls, I'm done with him. I'm actually done with him. I was at the point where I turned around and said, we've got Wolves next. Am I right in thinking?
Correct. Yes, Sunday next week.
Yeah, he doesn't start, and I start. I either start a player that is completely dividing the fan base right now, or I start Sonny Perkins.
The player being...
And I don't care.
The player that you're referring to, dividing the fan base?
Nick Coca-Cola. Nick Coca-Cola Vlasic.
Okay.
There are other soft drinks available. You know, you've got certain YouTube communities, certain Facebook and Twitter communities that are calling him an absolute waste of space for 28 million, despite the fact that he's delivered very similar stats to a certain...
great word, Kent. Marmalised. Great word.
Okay. Vlasic has returned the same sort of stats after the same amount of games as a certain Mr. Ben Rama last season, and cannot do anything right for doing wrong in some people's eyes. Yeah, you're right. But you know, Antonio cannot start up top for me against Wolves. I am done with this bullshit now.
But you know he will.
He can't. Moyes cannot do it. Listen, Moyes is currently dividing this the fan base, Rob. Massively dividing the fan base right now.
I'll have a £20 charity bet with you right now. I'll have a £20 charity bet with you right now that it's providing that Michail Antonio is fit, he will start next week.
You threw that caveat in, didn't you? I like it. Listen, I'm not saying he won't. I said he can't, or he shouldn't. Oh, Ken, he's flying. Should have done something in January, but hang on. I'm not going to sit here and bash Moyes. I'm not, because everyone else is seeming to do it, and in Moyes I trust. We're having the best season because of that man and his backroom team. So I'm not going to sit here and bash him. He's currently delivering one of my more memorable seasons as a West Ham fan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or two of them, at least, last season and this season. Now, I cannot defend. I'm trying to sit up. Hang on, I'm getting old. I cannot defend Mikel Antonio's his run of form. I can't. I really, really can't. But I'll tell you what I can't do. I can't sit here and be told that I am singling out a single player for being total dog shit. Now, I know you said he came off the bench against Leicester the other day and made a change, made a difference.
Yes.
If we're going to be sitting there and digging out, if we're going to be sitting here and digging out Nikola Vlasic for his poor return on a £28 million fee.
It's only 17 at the minute.
Yeah. I'm going to sit here and dig out Saïd Benrahma. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to dig out Saïd Benrahma for his attitude. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to dig out Saïd Benrahma for his return on 28 million quid. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to dig out every single fan. Let me put that in bunny rabbit ears. Every single fan that is out there right now that completely disrespects everyone else when it comes to the just what Saïd Benrahma delivers for this club. Now, he had a fantastic first game of the season, and I'm not going to say he didn't, Rob. Fantastic first game of the season. What else has he delivered since?
Oh, I think he's had flashes. I mean, he got that goal away.
Yeah. Hey.
Now, listen.
I can give you flashes. I would get arrested. I can give you flashes.
Yeah. But I'm not going to... Listen, I know what you're getting at. Has he been consistently good to excellent this season? No, I'm not going to
sit here. Has he been consistently good for a £28 million player?
Yeah, I know.
Over the last 2 seasons, 28 million quid. If people are going to sit here and bash Vlasic, and the same people that are absolutely annihilating Vlasic in YouTube videos, on Twitter and on Facebook, the same people that are annihilating Vlasic are sitting there in front of their TV screens, YouTube cameras and everything else, making themselves look like the meme of South Park. You know the one I'm talking about, covered in stuff. I'll send it to you.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to, because I'm completely oblivious.
Yeah, no. I cannot have someone bash Nikola Vlasic and defend Saïd Benrahma when they are both as bad as each other.
I will concede that point. I would say that there's not one over the other that can take the sort of like the high ground, if you will, over the other. I think both of them have been inconsistent. They've had moments, I would say, in fairness to Benrahma, though, I'd say that Benrahma's had more flashes of brilliance, more games where I've looked at him and thought there's a player there than yeah, fair, Ken. I can't disagree with that. But I would say that Benrahma's had more impact than Vlasic so far. However, it has to be noted that Benrahma had that first season to assimilate, acclimatise, bed in, whatever you want to call it, and has had a pre-season.
I want the same for Vlasic.
Makes a massive... Yeah, that's the thing. I think that you've got to be... you've got to compare them at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Stop it. Am I being trolled? Has someone signed up under a new account?
I'm sure that's his opinion, or her.
And they're welcome to that opinion, but stop it. Just stop. They're both. If you're going to go down that road, they're both flops. Neither have delivered. Yet we've given Benny the season like we did last year, but we're not willing to give Vlasic this one. You can't have it both ways.
This is one I saw earlier. He's been subbed 18 times more than any other player. Is that justified?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will sit here and tell you why it's justified, okay? Because because of the way Moyes sees the game, okay? Let's have a look at what Moyes has on the bench 9 times out of 10, okay? 2 goalkeepers. Well, you ain't going to make the champ. You ain't going to make the stuff there, are you? Unless there's an injury.
No.
Kids in a tight game. Are you going to bring the kids on? No. So you've got Vlasic. You've got Vlasic, or you've got Andor, Fornals, Lanzini, and/or the others. Yeah. So, are you taking off Bowen out of the game? Are you taking Bowen off? Of course you fucking ain't. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. If Lanzini starts because of Lanzini's ball retention, are you taking off Lanzini? Preferably not. And unless Benrahma, every time he gets the ball and he's taking on players and beat players and testing the goalkeeper and not putting it in Rowe's head like Antonio did twice the other day, which, by the way, I don't want to see him start on Sunday against them, right? There are other players that offer more defensively and/or going forward. Behave yourself, Boston one. And/or going forward, defensively and/or, okay, that offer more to come off the bench or to stay on the pitch than Said Benrahma does. Now, I will quite happily debate people, and I will bring up, hey, listen, we nearly did this a year ago. I will quite happily bring in stats, figures, and everything else that states that right now, and I tell you what, right, last season I made a claim, okay, about a certain gentleman that left Brentford at roughly the same time as Said Benrahma and had a significantly better first season in the Premier League than Benrahma. Okay, and I said he's gone some ways to paying some of that fee back. What's Ollie Watkins done this year?
Not an awful lot.
Not a great deal. What did Benny do? He won't shine away from Moyes. He won't. Unless he goes to a team that literally will build a team around Said Benrahma, which will be a championship team or maybe in another country. He won't he won't succeed at West Ham. But yesterday, his attitude at walking off the pitch, we were in a point where we were slowly getting on top in the game, for want of a better word. It was a struggle, but we were getting there. Momentum was kind of with us, and he strolled off the pitch like he didn't have a care in the world. I sat in my pub and I got glared at because I called him a C word as I told him to get off the pitch. Okay? He's not a great player. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's in no way, shape, or form
I think he's technically he's a very, very gifted player.
Yes, has the ability to become a great player. I don't see it.
He's been inconsistent at the Premier League so far for whatever reason, whether the reason is himself or whether it's Moyes. He has been inconsistent.
Rob, let me whisper this. The Benrahma lovers won't want to hear it.
Okay.
He pulled out of a minimum of 3 50-50 challenges yesterday because he acted like a pussy. He bottled 3 50-50 challenges. Yep. At least 3. He bottled them. Bottle job extraordinaire in 3 50-50 challenges. Didn't even want to go near it, despite the fact he was probably closer to the ball. Bottled them. Absolute
was he the
bottle
worst
job.
Player on the pitch though yesterday?
He was one of 4. One of 4. I will go Antonio Soucek. No, he wasn't.
So
but who are you going to sub? Who's going to sub?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is there a case to say bring Antonio off and who knows? Maybe play Benrahma as the 9. I don't know. Could that work?
I'd like that. Listen, I want nothing more. I want nothing more than Saeed Benrahma to be an absolute star at West Ham United.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing more than Saeed Benrahma to be the next Dimitri Payet. Remember he was labelled as that, Rob? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
I want nothing
He hasn't
more
lived up to
than
that billing,
him.
I will give you that.
I want nothing more than him to be our version of his Algerian teammate in Riyad Mahrez. Unfortunately, I don't see it. An old-fashioned manager, hit and run. I think, Sahil, you've got him mixed up with someone like Roy Hodgson or Big Sam Allardyce, maybe even Tony Pulis. But I wouldn't say that is. I wouldn't say that that's David Moyes. What are we on? Watkins, wait. Would you? Hey, listen, Ken, couldn't agree more. I'd love him at West Ham. Love him. I think he's kind of been frozen out a little bit because they've had to try and shoehorn Danny Ings into a side. If that's broke, don't fix it. Comes to mind with Aston Villa, and they lost Grealish, and I think that's what they tried to do. At number 9 or 10, Benny's natural position at Brentford, he was a striker. Then why doesn't Moyes do that? With the struggle that we're having with Antonio,
because Moyes doesn't play the formation that Brentford did. They played 4-3-3 that the last couple of seasons under Thomas Frank. We never play that.
But no. But Saeed Benrahma played the left-hand side of the 3.
Yes.
And Waymo played the right-hand side of the 3.
Yep.
And Tony played the centre forward.
Correct.
Or no, Watkins. Watkins did. Because it was BMW, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, and then it was Tony. Benrahma played decently, created most of the West Ham chances. He was better than Fornals. Nope. Listen. As I said, I want nothing more than Benrahma to be an absolute hit. He was touted as the next Dimitri Payet, and I've seen absolutely nothing that warrants him even being compared to Savio right now. If I'm honest with you, I've seen. I really haven't. I really listen. If we're talking about Vlasic being an expensive flop at 16 million, I do believe we paid in the region of 27 for Saeed Benrahma. Am I right in thinking?
I think it was 25 there or thereabouts.
Okay, let's say 25. If Vlasic at 16 is a flop, what's Benny? I'll ask that question, seeing as West Ham Irons 21 keeps coming at me with those. If Vlasic at 16 is a flop in your eyes, what's Benny at 25? £9 million more. And in the same amount of games that they both played, Benrahma last season, Vlasic this, I think they've got incredibly similar stats.
I'd like to know what, in terms of not just sort of appearances from the bench and starting, in terms of the minutes, I'd like to know what Vlasic is on right now in terms
significantly
of
less.
No, what I'm getting at is I'd like to know how many minutes he's on now and at what were Benny's stats at around about the similar time. I don't know if there's a website out there that you could get that information on, because then you're comparing like for like, aren't you? You're looking at Benrahma in his first season. Yeah, it's possibly there.
I'm off tomorrow. I might have a little look.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. I'd be interested to look at that. Just looking here, the pass stats. Fredericks 54%. But then, in fairness, Johnson wasn't much better. The guy that replaced him at 57.
Yeah, but listen, Johnson for me defended significantly better than Fredericks did when he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
Tom, I'm not saying right now. I'm not saying that Benrahma's a flop. I'm hearing people say that Vlasic is a flop at 16 million. What's Benrahma at 28 right now? I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question.
Pound for pound, which one's better? I think is what you.
And let's look. Let's go to February last year in Benrahma's first season at West Ham. And everyone was going, "Oh, give him a chance. He needs a season to bet in." Yeah, all right. We're not willing to do that for Vlasic. I don't understand. These Benrahma boys, and I don't care. I'll say it. And I said to you, Rob, and you told me to go cart my channel as well. Go cart blood. These Benrahma boys won't hear or see or have anything said about their boy. Then you can't criticise him. He could be absolute dog turd and criticise him. It'll be someone else's fault. I've seen it on other channels. Gone there. May I just come here quickly? I'm going to jump a couple in front.
Yep.
Tell me what Vlasic has done. Exactly the same as what Benrahma done in his same first season and the same amount of time between August and February as Benrahma did in his first season. If not, he's probably done a little bit more in less time. But I'll tell you what, West Ham runs on 21. I will look into that for you. I will come up with some stats. I'm pretty much sure on this laptop right now. I've still got the stats that I was going to use last year to paint the walls with someone else. I will bring those up for you, and I will do the same with Mr. Vlasic. I'll do a stream in the coming 7 days, since we've got nothing to do before Saturday when we do the preview. I'll do something for you, comparing the two in their first seasons at West Ham, and we'll see where we get. Listen, everyone is more than welcome to their own opinions. I have absolutely zero problem with this. I don't mind if people want to defend Saeed Benrahma. I don't mind if people want to slate Nikola Vlasic, as long as you have the stats to back both of those things up. Okay, when I bring the stats to you, that state that they were both exactly the same between August and February. What more do you want from me? Okay, I'll bring it all to you in image form. You can look at it yourself. Benrahma was the champion player at first, and Vlasic played at Everton before he had his chance. And what did he do? I believe he was 18 years old.
Duke, just on that, he only had 12 games in Premier League football for Everton, so it's not like he was there
18, wasn't he?
I think he was about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a kid. Okay, thanks for that. Bowen, as Rob says here, Mr. Singleton says that Bowen was always first up, and now has become someone that has to do. 6 assists, 1 goal in 30 games. How many minutes, Tom, if I may? How many minutes, if I can ask, for Benny? I will listen. We'll come back. We'll come back. Sharky, I think he was trying to carry Souček, which meant that he didn't have a great game. He was trying to do 2 player jobs, and unfortunately, he kind of screwed him over slightly.
Well, he was obviously at fault for the equaliser, wasn't he? It was a poor header. Declan Rice would know that.
Rob, was it you that said it? I think that's probably his only mistake in 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I can let him have that one.
Yeah, the last time that I can really remember a mistake that I can legitimately pin solely and wholly at the door of Declan Rice was the Arsenal game where he ducked under the flight of the ball, and Joe Hart was put in all sorts of problems as a result. That's the last time I can remember it actively. Anyway, there might be another one that's just not popped into my head, but there you go. But It wasn't a great game from Declan Rice, but I think the thing with Declan is that because we judge him by such lofty standards,
we've got to that point, haven't we?
What's that?
We've got to that point where anything below, anything below a probably 8.5 out of 10 for Declan Rice is considered a very poor. A very poor performance. If I may,
Tom's just come up with the stats. I've not corroborated this, but I've got
no reason that one for Benrahma, which is 1,000 minutes more, Rob, for Benrahma in the same amount of
times.
So my argument is currently becoming more and more apparent. Like Tom, I'm not sure if you're meaning to, but you're actually corroborating my argument here. I know you're doing it on a regards for although you've said here it's a goal or assist every 198 minutes. Okay, so then let me ask you this: for a player that's worth 9 million more in the grand scheme of things, at 28 or 20, 25, 26 million pounds, a goal or an assist, and involvement in a goal every more than 2 games, do you reckon that's good enough for someone who's now had a season and a half in the Premier League? No, I'm sorry. And I said this last year. For 28 million quid, it weren't good enough then. And at 28 million quid, it still ain't good enough now.
Fair enough.
That's all I got.
I'm sensing that you're not exactly a Benrahma
West Ham Lions, you know, fudging hell.
He's not 30 million. He's 17.
He's 30 million if we win the Champions League 3 seasons consecutively, and I think it might be 30 million if he goes on to win the Ballon d'Or 10 times in the next 11 seasons. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's why we end up paying 30 million quid. It certainly isn't 30 million pounds. It's 16 million pounds up front, and then all of the add-ons if he plays, 492,000.
It's not even up front, dude. It's spread over the length of the contract, from what I've heard.
Yeah, well, listen, that's the way that we work things. But he's Tom, I love you. Listen. I'm not here to fight and argue with people. I'm not. As I say, everyone has their. Their bits. Ken says it there. He don't use stats. He uses his eyes, and Ken watches a hell of a lot of football, and I do tend to, I really do listen to Ken's opinion on stuff. It is what it is, isn't it? But people are using a certain stick to bash one player, but won't use the same stick to bash a favourite player. Do you see what I mean? And it just
yeah. There's an inconsistency.
Yeah, and that for me bugs me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. All I ask is if we're going to do it for one, we've got to do it for both. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Is there do you want to go through player ratings, Duke? Should we do player ratings?
Let me piss everyone off even more.
One thing I will say, I'll tell you what, I'll get this out of the way. One thing I will say that I noticed at the ground yesterday, that and it's always been something that it's very much a chicken and egg situation. The atmosphere at the ground was really flat, I thought.
Yeah, but I think that's a lot to do with what's going on the pitch.
Well, but that was what I was going to say. Do you think it's up to the team to G up the crowd, or is it up to the crowd to give the team a bit of a G up? What chicken or egg? What's your thoughts?
I think
the last few games it's been really quite noticeable, and yesterday I thought it was awful. The atmosphere for me, in my opinion. And if anyone that was there wants to say that I'm talking nonsense, that's fine. But from where I was sat, all the atmosphere seemed to be coming from the away support and bugger all from the home support. And like I say, I'm very much like, well, should should it be that the crowd give the G up to the team, or should it be the team's job to play in a way that gives the team, the crowd, a little bit of a sort of fire up?
I'm going to say it's a bit of both, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. You and I have supported this club long enough, along with so many other people. They're in the chat. 21 people in there right now. We've all supported West Ham for donkey's years. So I can sit here and say that the football that I've witnessed under Makari, Avram Grant, it really wasn't pretty. Yet at Upton Park, we always got behind the team. We always got behind that.
Well,
we did. The atmosphere. Listen,
no, I've been at Upton Park when there was some crap atmospheres. Trust me.
Oh, listen, Upton Park wasn't no place of noise all the time.
Yeah.
But we always got behind the players on the pitch. Now, I'm not saying that we don't do this at the London Stadium, but I think the team do need to take some sort of responsibility and give the fans something in the crowd to cheer about. Not being funny, I saw us have some terrible games with Dimitri Payet, yet Dimitri Payet would go on some sort of a jinky little, and all of a sudden we'd be out screaming, shouting, cheering. My God, the noise was amazing. Be that the last season at Upton Park or even the first season before Dimitri Payet decided to do something that he's been alleged to do. Yeah, people saying we should listen. If what's going on the pitch is shit, you ain't gonna cheer it. You're gonna be pissed off. I mean, I have to say, I was mightily surprised. Now you were there, Rob, so you might be able to help me out here, and I didn't hear it. If that's the case, I expected there to be a hell of a lot more boos at half time than what I heard over the TV. Because that performance was dire.
Yeah.
I expected to hear a lot more boos.
There was a few boos, I have to say. I did hear a few.
Was it boos or was they saying zoo?
No, it was boos. Definitely boos. How you doing, Dan? Hope you're well. Good result yesterday, by the way. Saw the result. 3-0. Didn't see that coming, I've got to say. I dare say you probably didn't either. Maybe a win, but 3-0. But yeah, no, there was a few boos at half time. It was a bit sort of, like I say, even the boos were flat in their tone. Do you know what I mean? It was like I'm booing. Oh, I can't be bothered.
But again, it really does come down to,
I have to be honest, Matthew. I don't know the answer to that question, I'm afraid. I don't know if there's anyone in the live chat that might be able to help Matthew out with that. If so, please give him a nudge and give him a heads up. Ken, I don't know if you might be in a position to give him.
I was about to say, Ken might
the benefit of your wisdom. Yeah. Thanks for the compliment, though, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Cheers, buddy. I have to say that, I think to be able to get the fans going, you've got to see something on the pitch. Otherwise, we're going to be negative. I think we proved that against Brighton. It was a negative performance. Therefore, the crowd reacted negatively. This was last season, by the way. We reacted negatively. If we see something positive on the pitch, i.e., hey, listen, I mean, I remember watching Ravel Morrison pick the ball up, and you got on your feet. You got on your feet. Dimitri Payet got the ball. Regardless of how bad the team were playing, if these players got on the ball, you got on your feet. Because there was something possibly going to happen. Because these guys could do that. Right now, we're I mean, I have to say, I watched the Man U Leeds game today, and I have to say the Man U Leeds game today. I haven't seen anything like that sitting in the top flight since probably
great game, wasn't it?
the late 80s, early 90s, with the fact that every time a ball bounced, there was a splash of water, and what the fudge was going on? What was going on with that thing?
Brilliant.
Oh, listen, I would have been in my element playing that as a centre back. Christ, I would have started sliding on the 18-yard box and stopped on their 18-yard box. My word. I was it Mangala went for a tackle, and I think he slid for about 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot. He just kept going. I was like, see you later on, mate. You're going to be in the changing rooms before you know it. Like, what and God's green earth was going on?
Yeah.
But again, every time the ball was going in an advanced position, i.e. Leeds on the attack or even United on the attack, you were there going, oh, something's going to happen. Oh, hang on. And it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I was transfixed. Pubs been until that. It's been great. So I was able to watch, I'd say 90% of the game. And it was great. It was great to watch. And again, Leeds and Man United fans home and away were all on their feet. We're not getting that right now, Rob. And that's why the fans are not. We're not finding something to give us some enjoyment. We're not finding something to give us a little nudge in the right direction. You know, even if say Ben Rama, Nikola Vlasic, Jared Bowen. Listen, when Jared Bowen gets on the ball and starts going forward, we kind of go, oh, hang on a minute, maybe, not. Oh, here it goes, it's going to happen. And until that happens, the fans are not going to be on their feet cheering. You know, listen, I don't go off as much as I'd love to. I've only gone to, I think, 4 games this season, which is quite poor for a guy that sits here in front of a camera and tells you lot you're wrong.
Listen, there's other people that have YouTube channels talking about West Ham that don't go either. Probably haven't even gone 4 games, let alone anything else. So, you know.
Because GSP there. They got a Dagenham, mate. It's all right. No, they got a Dagenham. I didn't say, hey, I didn't say nothing. Okay, behave yourself. And I should go more. But listen, I can only give my opinion as to the kind of situation that I see, be it on telly, listening to other fans. And listen, you know, there are so many people that we come across in these chats, you know, Tom and Larry and the others. And listen, I value everyone's opinions equally. I do. Some of them, I think, calm yourself down, saying you're being an idiot. There are some that go, that's bang on, I love that. I mean, listen, there is a man in the chat right now that I bow down to with anything West Ham, Mr. Kent. Okay, I do. That man, I respect. But listen, there are some things that he puts up there, and I go, "Shut up, Kent. That's rubbish. You're talking shit." Yeah, right? I do. I don't listen because that's just the way it is. But I respect everyone's opinions, and I will always come back if I think you're talking rubbish. We're going to go again. We're going to go again, and we're going to go again. Just because that's the way it is. Okay. Because that's what we do. And not everyone goes to games, and those that go to games, I'm very jealous of you. I'd love. Peter's come in with a question. I'll let you take this one, Rob.
Would rather the 86 team over this one. Oh. Let's go through it. Parks or Fabianski?
Parks.
Okay, right.
You know, so there wasn't even a hesitation, Rob. Boom, have it.
And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it sort of like player for player as
the main starting players. Yeah.
Let's go. Ryan Fredericks or Ray Stewart?
Oh, Ray Stewart. What we got?
Okay. The left back was a bit of a weak position for the 86 boys. Steve Wolford played there, I believe. I think Georgie Paris. Let's go George Paris. George Paris or Aaron Cresswell?
Cresswell.
Okay, right. Okay, do them as a pair. We'll go Zuma and Dawson or Gale and Martin.
Gale and Martin.
Okay. We'll go Declan Rice or Alan Dickens.
Deck.
Okay. Thomas Souček, or who else was central midfield in that team? I'm trying to remember now. Who would have been the other main central midfielder? There was Dickens and Ben. What was that? Ben Rama is head and shoulders. Yeah, okay. Ben Rama or Alan Devonshire. Devonshire all day long and twice on a Sunday, I'm afraid.
You won't need to come back to that. We'll leave that one alone. Nice, Tom. I like it.
Well, no, it should be Fornells versus Devonshire. Devonshire still. Devonshire.
Yeah,
still.
Devo walks into this team hands down. Yeah. Whatever we're doing.
Mark Ward or Jared Bowen. Now that's an interesting one, isn't it? That's an interesting one. That gets you thinking. Who else played in central midfield alongside Alan Dickens in the 86 team? My brain's gone. Someone in the live chat help me out. Help me out. Who would have been the mainstay central midfielder alongside Alan Dickens in the 86 team? My brain has gone. And it'll come up and I'll go, of course it was bloody him. But I just can't think.
I'm still wrestling with Wall Bowen, this conundrum.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. As a pair, Tony Cottee and Frank McAvenny, or Michael Antonio and Saeed Benrahma.
Listen, that's even. Like, what's the conversation there? Be able
Yeah. I'm gonna go Bowen. Dan's gone. Mark Ward.
I'm gonna go Bowen for me.
Yes.
And the reason I'm gonna go Bowen is I think because the value, and I don't mean monetary value, but I mean what he's bringing to the side, is that Jared Bowen is bringing more to this side individually as a player than Mark Ward did individually to that team in 86.
Jeff Pike. Was he central mid? I thought he played wide. Was he central mid in the 86 team? Really?
Are you questioning Kent?
It is allowed. It is allowed. I'm just like, I'm sure Pikey was a wide player.
Hang on. Is this Dan? Did you say this is Dan?
That's Dan, yeah. You've gone all Norman Collier, my end. Oh God, that's awful. That is awful. That is proper Norman Collier, mate.
What we're doing this. Another channel. I want this to Moscow.
I didn't get any of that.
I'm gonna fucking type it.
You have, honestly, you've gone all Norman Collier, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
In the chat.
Parks or Ludo? Oh, God, now that is a difficult one. That is a difficult one. See, now I probably saw more of Ludo than I did see Parks at his peak. So I would probably go Ludo for that reason alone. However, I've seen footage of Parks, and he was a quality goalkeeper. Of that, there is no doubt. So,
am I back? Can you hear me? Am I good?
That's better. Bonds or Souček? Okay. Oh God! Well, put it this way: the current version of Souček, it's Billy Bonds, and it's not even up for debate. But if it was the Thomas Souček that scored 10 goals,
still don't even get close to me.
Yeah.
Still don't even get close to me, Rob. Bonzo.
10 goals from
listen,
midfield.
Oh, mate, but that ain't no bloody.
Richard.
That ain't no Lampard, is it? Without being disrespectful.
Right. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Lampard played on carpets compared to Bonds playing in the sandpit. Let's not stick around. I mean, you look at the difference. I mean, there are several there's several arguments to be had both sides, as we've said. I think Kent that said it a few comments back. I'm going to go searching. There you go. Kent says it there that Cress and Deck are the only two that get in above 86. I'd be inclined that Bowen. I think because Bowen, what he offers individually, he's worth more than what Ward would have offered either a team mentality or individually to the 86 side. But yeah, I mean, Gal and Martin in there. Cressy. Can you imagine Gal, Martin, Cressy, Park, Devonshire? Can you imagine Devonshire one side and Bowen the other, Rob? Like,
yeah, that'd be
scary. Yeah, and then Peter, mate. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I'm just trying to find something. It's all right. You carry on. I'm trying to find something. I might not be able to find it.
There were so many players, even, like you say, even George Parris, what he brought to the team, let's say at left back for a while, was important. Let's not mess around. But what Cresswell was given to, the side, even you don't even have to just go this year, but what he's offered to the side over the last 18 months with his deliveries and free kicks, corners, it's something else. But yeah, I mean,
found it.
I want to touch on.
Do you want to know what the team was in 85-86 that had the most? If you're sort of taking it on which player played the most in a given position, do you know what it would have been?
Go on, and if you rattle off them names, and I will then.
Well,
pick
we've got most of it,
team.
but Phil Parkes was the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Phil Parkes.
Yeah. Ray Stewart had the most appearances at right back.
Yeah.
The left back was Steve Walford. 27 league appearances.
Cresswell. Yeah.
Tony Gale and Alvin Martin as the centre backs.
Yeah.
Devonshire left.
Yeah.
Ward right. Dickens
Bowen
central with Neil Orr. And McAvenny and Cotty up top. So yeah, it was Dickens
and Rice
central. Hey, what?
I'd choose Dickens and Rice.
Yep. Okay.
For that pairing, and then the forward boys would, if you were going to pick Ben Rama, Antonio as a forward two, or even if you were to pick Vlasic or Lanzini, Fornals, however you want to go, whatever you want to go up front, it's always going to be McAvenny and Cotty. So I think you're looking at 3.
That's probably true, Pete.
You're looking at 3 of the 3 of the current side that would get into the 86 side. Andy, you're being vindictive now. What? No.
Would Ogbonna get in?
No.
Okay.
I want to go with. Sorry, I know you just put something up. I want to go with this one. I don't know why. That was a really good start to the season with them two. Was it at Newcastle? Wasn't it Newcastle away, which I know a few people went to, and they look really good to start with. I have to say that I don't know what stopped that. I don't know what stopped that link-up play. I don't know whether there's been a John Hartson or Berkovich moment in training between Benny and Antonio. I wouldn't be able to tell. I don't know what's changed.
I think it's momentum. I think it's momentum.
Don't know what it is.
I think they're tired.
Yeah.
I think they hit a groove at that point of the season, which they've got out of. Yes. Who was it that said that? I think it was Wardy that said that, and I think McAvenny as well have both said if Dixie was at left back, they win the league. They don't just. I think the words that Wardy said, we don't just win the league, we piss it.
Yeah, listen, this man, I love him. I
know
love him.
You do. I know you do.
Okay, he's the reason that my lucky number's 3. He's the reason that every shirt that I've ever bought with my own name on the back of it has his number on the back of it. Yeah,
should we get back to where we were before we've diverged off? Player rating.
Oh, right, that's where we were. Sorry.
Steady. You're being really provocative now. You're going to get us in so much trouble. Fabianski. No half marks.
6.
And you guys in the live chat get involved as well. Help us out.
He did his best. He did his best for the goal.
He made a save early.
Yeah. And listen, he's a good goalkeeper. He's a good goalkeeper, and he did his best to try and. I honestly thought until the replays and everything else and the slow mos, I actually thought we kept it out. I feel really epic. I feel really hard done by for Fab. So, but I'll give him a 6.
Well, Walshy's gone 5, but Epic. Oh, bloody hell! That's harsh. Sahil's just sort of said Benny was pushed out often and subbed in order to change the outcome. Maybe, like I say, who knows? I knew the Goozer wouldn't keep a clean sheet. Yeah, but it doesn't mean to say he's a 0. That's a bit harsh. I mean, even Roberto didn't get a 0, did he? Well, actually, no, he probably didn't.
Not talking to Kent anymore.
Yeah, that could be closer. That could be a closer.
It's his next comment. It's his next comment. I'm not talking to Kent anymore.
Hang on. I haven't got that far yet. I'll get to it.
I know.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to, Tom. He did make a save right at the beginning with the score at 0-0. So he doesn't make that save. Yeah, I've asked that question, Mark. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know whether it's a contract issue or what. I don't know. Hammerhead's gone 5.
Please.
Mark's gone 5. Neil's gone 6. Okay, so we'll go with Ryan Fredericks.
4.
4. Why so?
Mate, Guy can't defend. He's basically the right hand side after Masuaku, and it hurt. And it hurt us yesterday.
Could you imagine us playing both of them at this? Mind you, has anybody ever seen Ryan Fredericks and Arthur Masuaku in the same room at the same time? I don't know. Larry's gone 3 for Fredericks. Walshy's gone 4. Mark's gone 4. No, we're not allowing half marks, Hammerhead. Come back at me.
4.
A 4 or a 5.
It's a 4.
Can't give no half marks here. No sitting on the fence. Sharky's gone 3. And same as Pete. Pete's gone 3. Neil's gone 4. He's come back with a 4. Yeah, he's said no. He ain't a 5. He's a 4. Okay. Yeah. No, he was quite poor, to be fair. Hold on. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair, Walshy. That is fair. My French bulldog is Pele compared to Masuaku. Can't even get the word out. Yeah, Aaron Cresswell.
Oh, Kent's coming. I thought I was ours. Cressy 6.
Okay. What was it? His
and that's the assist for the goal. Yeah.
Assist. Yeah. Wasn't really impressed with anything else defensively.
I've seen Ngakia's situation right here.
Yeah. Same here. I'm a little bit concerned. Although we do have an option for an extra year. I know people say his contract's up in the summer, but we can activate.
Oh, here comes Nagy Boy. Nagy Boy's just gone past again. Go on, the boy. He's just
Sharky's gone 5 for Cresswell. Walshy's gone 5. And Mr. Brown has gone 5 as well. So they're not a million miles away from where you're at.
That's fine.
Larry's gone 7. He's, again, not a million miles away from you. You've gone 6.
Yeah.
So he'll all players 7 for their efforts. So thin is the club. Big 0 for Moyes, the brain behind this situation. Okay, fair enough. Hammerhead's gone 5 for Cresswell, and Neil's gone 6. Same as you, Duke. Exactly the same. Shall we go for Craig Dawson, the goal scorer?
7.
Okay.
I think he was solid in defence. In fact, you know what? I'd like to revise that, and I'm going to go 8.
Yeah, I was going to say because he did score the goal.
Yeah, he was. Listen, he scored the goal. Not only that, but he was very good at the back. Very good at the back as well. I mean, he made some game-saving interceptions. He made some good blocks. There's an 8 in there.
Fair enough. Well, you've got a 7 from Hammerhead for Dawson. Walshy's gone 7 for Virgil van Dawson. Larry says it's man of the match territory, 8.
Yeah.
Same as Neil.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Sharky's gone an 8. And Hammerhead's gone an 8. Mark has gone 7. Oh, and we've gone, Cresswell, that's Kent. Good cross for the goal, but can't stop crosses. Yeah, that was quite apparent yesterday. But
well, that was the reason he got listen, if he hadn't got a goal or the assist for the goal, he would have got a 5 for me. It was the fact that he got the assist.
Pete's gone an 8. Pete's gone an 8. It says we should play him as a striker for the rest of the season. You might have a point. Okay, so Kurt Zuma.
6. And to quote,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to quote, listen, he did what he said on the tin for the most part. I say a 6. He did everything by the book. He didn't stand out, and he wasn't reckless. I'd say he was bang there. As the commentator said, he's doing everything by the book. There was no thrills to his performance. There was nothing that stood out. There was nothing that made me go, "Oh, that was crap." He slap bang down the middle. I'd go with a 6. Yeah.
I thought he was our best player. I thought Dawson wasn't a million miles away, but I personally thought that Zuma was our best player. There you go.
I think you're wrong, but it's your opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. I think he was an 8. I think Dawson was probably a.
Generous
I would say
he was
an 8. I'd say that Zuma, and I'm sort of looking at it and thinking, well, he's been under a lot of pressure lately, and I thought he put in a really good performance myself. Maybe I saw a different game to everybody else because everybody else is giving him a 7 or a 6. But like I say, I thought he was an 8. But hey, whatever. Pays your money, takes your choice. Declan Rice,
6. Sadly, I think his usual 8 out of 10 was dropped because he was struggling to deal with Souček's non-existent game yesterday, and I think he suffered for it. It would have been a 7. It's a mistake for the goal that drops into a 6. It's not pretty. It's not great, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oh, all right, Pete. All right. No need. 6, big mistake. I'm taking that's Declan Rice you're talking about, Larry. Rice was off it yesterday. 6. Sharky's gone 5. Neil says 5 for Rice, and Mark's gone 6. Zuma gets an 8. Didn't man of the match. Hey, what?
He said he should have got man of the match, I'm guessing. I think that's what Kent's getting at.
Okay.
Virgil van Dawson.
I thought he was an 8, but like I say, everybody to their own. 5, says Pete. He says he was poor. Yeah, fair enough. But I would say he was poor by the standards of Declan Rice. By the standard of other players, he might have had a decent game. 125k a week.
Who's on 125k a week? It ain't Deck.
Kurt the cat kicker.
Oh, Kurt the cat kicker. Hey, listen.
Kurt the cat kicker.
Good luck, Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. If someone put a contract in front of me and said 125k a week, where's the pen?
I'd say it's Deck's worst game for about 4 years, Ken, to be fair.
He still gets a 7. Worst game in 6 months, and he gets a 7. That's not bad. That's not bad. We come to Thomas Souček then, Duke.
4th, and that's being polite.
4.
I mean,
wrong?
listen, cases, tactical switch. You know, everyone's spoken about Declan Rice being the one that wants to travel forward. And listen, there's nothing to warrant the fact that Deck being the one going forward. I think you said yourself that I think we've scored more goals
as a team. Well, up until a game or two ago, we'd scored more goals at the same point last
but we'd
season.
also conceded more, if my memory serves me. So the fact that we're taking Deck out of a position to push him further forward. Declan Rice is he's a defensive midfielder. He's a great box-to-box midfielder. I'm not going to say he's not, but he is an essential defensive midfielder, whereas Souček is a better... Here's the thing. Declan Rice is a better central defensive midfielder than he is a box-to-box midfielder, whereas Thomas Souček is a better box-to-box midfielder than he is a central defensive midfielder, and Declan Rice is a better central defensive midfielder than Thomas Souček is a central defensive midfielder, and Thomas Souček is a better box-to-box midfielder than Declan Rice is a box-to-box midfielder. So what you've done is you've taken that and you've swapped last year's roles. Okay, Declan Rice last year was a holding midfielder. He didn't really carry the ball as much as what we're seeing this season, whereas we saw Thomas Souček arrive late and get forward and do what Big Sue does. We've swapped that this year, and we're asking Souček to hold. And Souček to hold is basically like giving him a fishing net to catch water. It doesn't work. Whereas, you know, last year we were telling Deck to hold while Tom went, and it worked. That was like giving what we've done is we've said here's a bucket for Declan Rice while Tom goes forward, and what we're saying to Tom is here's a fishing net catch water while Deck goes forward. It doesn't. It's not. You know, it's not working that way. And I really do believe that's the issue with this season. Is that's why Souček's form has dropped off a cliff. Is because he's being asked to do a role that he's not as good as the other role that he can do. And Declan Rice is being asked to do the role that Thomas Souček is better, and Thomas Souček is being asked to do a role that Declan Rice is better at.
Here's something that could be a little bit controversial. Is Declan Rice being asked to play that role, or is Declan Rice demanding, insisting, wanting to do the role that he's playing this season?
Requested and request granted, in my opinion.
Okay.
Whether or not that's...
Did you give me 3 or a 4, sorry?
A 4. I gave him a 4. What I will say is I think Declan Rice has come back from international duty, and Gareth Southgate has probably whispered in his logo, you need to be getting a bit further forward, so if you want to... You see what I mean? You know, is Calvin Phillips to Declan Rice being Thomas Souček from last year at West Ham. Do you understand what I mean? Declan Rice being Thomas Souček arriving and going forward, where Calvin Phillips for England is holding. As Gareth Southgate said, we need to see more of that from you at club level. He's gone back. He's spoken to Moyes and said, look, my England career is kind of hanging on the fact that I get forward more. That needs to be my role this season. And
but then he got into the squad playing as a CDM.
Yeah, because he stood out. But Calvin Phillips is the one that, again, in my opinion, Calvin Phillips in the England side holds really, really well. And I'm guessing and probably Southgate can see it. And listen, if we had Calvin Phillips and I'd ask Calvin Phillips to sit and let Deck do what he wants to do, but Thomas Souček isn't that player. Thomas Souček is to Rice what Rice is to Phillips. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the issue.
Pete's given Souček a 3. Mark's given him a 4. Sharky's given him a 4. Neil's given him a 4. Lawrence is giving him 3.1. I'm guessing that's a 3. Walshy, 3. So far off it, he deserves to be dropped. I cannot disagree with the last part of that statement. I think he needs to be dropped, even if it's just to rest him. But his performances have been far and away a million miles removed from what I think we should be expecting of him. If we had a decent squad, half the team would and could be dropped since the turn of the year at various times. Agree with that, Pete. And I blame David Moyes for that. I really do. You know, he's had several transfer windows. He's not done enough business.
It's also confidence.
You've gone Norman Collier again.
Oh, in him.
I've got something about Alex Crow. Don't know if anybody else understood the rest of it, but we'll carry on. You can't be giving a 3.1. I gave Masuaku 3 at Wigan for hitting the target when gobbing. Everybody's got their own. Did you give him a 3 because he hit the target? or for gobbing? I'm not quite sure, Mark. Kent's gone generous 3 for Thomas. Out-muscled physically, struggled, can't pass. No goal threat. It's like he's lost half his tools out of his toolbox. Yeah, get that. Supposedly, Potato Man wants same wages as Zuma. Ooh, 125k a week. Nice money if you can get it. Yeah, he may well have demanded it, Lawrence. Who knows the conversations that go on behind closed doors. If Rice wants to attack the goal, he needs to work on his end product, as it's woeful at the moment. Fair enough. Phillips and Rice dovetail, brilliant here. That'd be a great pairing, wouldn't it? That'd have been great if that had come off in January, but there you go. Right, okay. So, Pablo Fornals, Duke. 5. What do you think he contributed? Positively or negatively? Your mic is shocking. You dropped it in that bucket of water again. I've warned you about that. Honestly, it has. It's gone all Norman Collier, mate. Honestly, I'm not winding you up. Like I say, that's what Pete's saying. It's gone all belly up, mate. Pull it out, pull it back in. I don't know, blow it. I don't know. Control Alt Delete, reboot. I don't know. I'm not the IT whiz kid. Anyway, let's have a look. So we got Walshy's gone 4 for Fornals. Mark's gone 5. Larry's gone 5. He hustles his butt off, no result. Listen, the one thing you'd always say about Pablo Fornals, he works his socks off. Sometimes it don't work. Battery's running out, Duke. Neil's gone 5 for Fornals. There you go. Pete, 3 + 1 nails 5. Oh, that wasn't me. He's dropped out. He's dropped out. Probably because you suggested that one, which maybe what needs to happen. It sounds like Duke keeps swearing he's getting bleeped out every time. What do you do? What do you do? He'll be back in a minute. Here he comes. There we go. Should we try again?
No.
No, I got you crystal clear there, old son.
You bloody did.
What did he contribute?
He was there. He was a body on the pitch. I mean, there was a couple of times he made a couple of vital interceptions. Not that they were vital, but he kind of broke up play. And his work rate is second to none in that West Ham side. and I mean that both defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
Jared Bowen comes a very close second when it comes to mixing up a defensive and an offensive contributions. I just think Fornals just takes the cake a little bit. Hence the reason for
Okay. Which one should I go? I'm gonna go Jared Bowen. I'm gonna save the next two for last. Jared Bowen, please. Oh, that is true. That is true, Neil.
Yeah,
6. Okay. What were your thoughts on
his endeavour, his work rate? Yeah, he tries. You listen. This club means a lot to this boy. You only have to look at his goals to see him giving it the old chest pump. His work rate and his endeavour is very much second to none in that West Ham side. Unfortunately, yesterday he was like the big bad wolf blowing against a brick wall. For all his endeavour, all his work rate, all his real effort, really didn't count for anything in the grand scheme of things, which is quite sad, really.
Yeah, fair. Neil's given Bowen a 6, as has Sharky, and he says he loves Bowen. You listen, he's spoken for Sharky. None of that.
I love the future Mrs. Bowen.
I'm saying nothing. She's a bit young. She's a bit young for you, Duke.
She's a bit young for me. Then she's very young for you.
I wasn't the one that said anything. Just to bring that to your attention, I kept quiet. I'm a happily married man. Look, well, I'm married.
Duck! I can see it's coming. Duck.
she's glaring at me. I could be in trouble there.
They are awful when they attack.
Hang on, she's going to her bag. I'm not too sure.
Hippos when they attack, Rob.
Oh, that's right. She's only getting the door keys to lock the front door, so I'm fine. She's not going to kill me live on stream, so not yet. I've got to try a lot harder than that. So anyway, where did we get to? Okay, right. I've left the best two till last for you, Duke. Now hang on. You don't know which one I'm going to select, unless that's the mark you're going to give both of them. Saeed Benrahma.
3.
Okay.
It's actually a 3 for both of them, Rob, if I'm honest with you.
Okay. I'm actually shocked at that. I thought it was going to be less.
Well, I'll be honest with you. They both flitted right on the cusp of a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
They really did both flirt massively with that 2, and I think I'm probably being significantly over generous when I go with a 3. But they both really did flirt with the 2. I mean, Antonio, I think there was one point, I can't remember, it was first or second half, and he broke, and he ran, and he ran, and he ran. And then he ran some more, and if I remember rightly, he kind of ran a little bit more, and then he ran.
This is Benrahma we're talking about.
No, this is Mikal.
Okay.
They both get 3, flirted with 2, but Mikal ran and ran and ran and ran, and then he ran and ran some more, ran a little bit further. Then he ran a little bit more into the box, and I'm sitting there screaming past the fucking ball, lay it off, don't shoot, he's going Rosette, please don't shoot, please, shot, and it went Rosette. Like, he was leaning so far back, he was practically vertical, horizontal, sorry, and I was just, oh my God. Like, listen, I want to love Antonio. I want to love Antonio because of what he did at the start of the season with the goals and the run he went on. I want to love him. I want to love Benrahma for his game against Newcastle. I'm just not seeing it anymore, Rob. I mean, to Howe asked earlier about should we loan Benrahma out, mate. I don't think I'd be bothered if we sold him. If I'm honest, I really wouldn't.
Fair enough.
And I'll say, and listen, I'll say the same this time next year for Vlasic if Vlasic hasn't come good. So, neither player for me yesterday were good enough to pull that West Ham shirt on. Neither of them, and it hurt. It hurt because I know that both of them, both of them have the ability to be again like Declan Rice, an 8 out of 10 every week. Antonio can score some bangers. Ben Rama can beat players and pick out a goal from right to from left to right, bending it in the top bins. We know he can do that. Yet, what are we seeing? He was pulling out of challenges, Ben Rama, at least 3. I don't want to see that. I want to see a player that's committed for the cause. And I'm not seeing that in any game, and people are going to say, well, how can he be committed for the cause if he's being substituted every game? But I want to see it beforehand. Make Moyes realise he cannot take you off, because I'm telling you now, you're doing nothing that makes Moyes question whether or not it should be you, Lanzini, you, Fornals, you, Antonio, even you, Bowen, that goes off. You're doing nothing that's making him question that. You're making it a very easy decision.
Playing devil's advocate. We could have made an extra substitution yesterday, and you've just said that Antonio was a 3. Why did he survive? Why did he not get pulled off?
Because Moyes doesn't trust the kids in the Premier League game, because there is no one else, because he didn't buy anyone. The dog has more aggression than Mikel Antonio up front. I can hear that.
Well, you've met him.
Yes. Yeah, I know, mate. There's a fucking thing. Listen, it's Moyes' fault that we don't have a centre forward in the club that he trusts enough to take Antonio off. I discussed this on deadline day when I turned around and went, he has his players that he wants for a certain position, and that's it. He has, for instance, Onesri was the only player he wanted in place of Mikel Antonio. Well, Onesri didn't want to come, so he went, well, I don't want anyone else. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not how this works, mate.
You guys in the live chat, give us your Antonio scores as well.
All the time he's there thinking, he was at United and he had players coming through. He had Lingard coming through. That was good enough that if he didn't get his number one man at United, he still had something coming through the youth team that was good enough to take his place. Whereas he doesn't have that here right now. He doesn't trust Perkins. He doesn't trust Ducko Flex. He doesn't trust Odebeko. He doesn't trust Afolayan. He doesn't trust Nathan Holland. That's why these guys are not at the club or not even, making the bench or coming off the bench. So, as Pete says, listen, Antonio doesn't deserve to start the next game. That's one thing I do agree with, but I don't agree with if Ben Rama could shoot, he would be a top player playing for a top 4 club. Not with the attitude he's got, Pete. And for me, that's the key thing. He's already walking around and acting like he's a top player. He's nowhere near it. He's arrogant.
The only thing I'd say to stick up for Benny is sort of like, is he thinking coming off that pitch, why am I getting hooked? That guy over there has been just as shit as I've been.
And he has every right to.
Or even more shit than I've been.
But he should also then look at the bigger picture and go, I need to get my ass off the pitch for trying to get on top, and me taking the sting out of this is not doing anyone any favours. It was all about him coming off the pitch yesterday and the fact that he was pissed off rather than the bigger picture of West Ham trying to get 3 points. And the fact that Wolves won today, the fact that United won today, the fact that Tottenham beat City yesterday shows you just how important them 3 points would have been yesterday. We didn't deserve it, but...
Well, Sharky's gone a 4 for Saeed Ben Rama, as has Mr. Brown, as has Larry and Neil. Hang on a minute. If Ben Rama can shoot, he'd be a top player playing for a bigger club. Yep, 4. And then we get into Antonio. Larry's gone a 2. Sharky's gone 3. Pete's gone 2. Neil's gone a 3. And Epic, well, he's dropped the nuclear warhead. Sell Antonio. Problem is, we can't sell him right now. Can't sell him till the summer. And we've just given this guy a 3-year contract. Isn't that brilliant? That's typical West Ham.
I don't disagree with Epic. Yeah.
No. I'm not saying I disagree, but what I'm saying is, isn't it typical? Howe as well. We've given Howe and Antonio new deals, and Hammerhead's given Antonio a 1. We've given both of these guys new long-term deals, and their form has disappeared up their own arses.
It's fell off a cliff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's typical West Ham. This.
I'd take Willock all day long. I thought he looked amazing yesterday.
Sorry, say again.
I said I'd take Willock. I thought he looked amazing against us yesterday.
I'd have taken him last season. I thought he had a cracking spell on loan at Newcastle last season. He was scoring goals for fun.
Did he go on a free?
No, I think they paid wedge for him. I think they paid
Who's
money.
Who's one that goes on free at the end of this season from Arsenal?
Lacazette?
With him. No, the other one. Young lad.
Nketiah?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Yeah, I know you're a fan, aren't you?
Huge.
Yeah. Do you want to give the subs a mark?
Yeah, go on.
Ben Johnson? And you guys in the live chat as well.
He's a 5, but bordering on a 6. I'm going to stick with a 5 first.
Okay. Why a borderline 6?
Because again, much like Cressy, he came off the bench and he did his best. He showed some endeavour. He showed some effort. And like I said, it's a 5 bordering on a 6. He's pretty damn close, by the way. You make arguments for either side. He's got to, for me, he's got to be in front of Fredericks for that starting place now. He's got his second choice. In fact, if anything, arguments can be made for first choice. Arguments can be more. Yeah, I would. I don't think Soufal's doing enough right now to be first choice. Right back. But again, Moyes has to answer these questions.
Fair.
Fair.
Well, Hammerhead's giving him a 5, as I say. Larry's giving him a 6. Sharky's giving him a 6. Neil's giving him a 6. Nikola Vlasic.
5, bordering on dropping to a 4.
Okay.
But I'm going to go 5.
Okay.
Again, there was a lot of endeavour. There was a lot of movement, a lot of effort, a lot of tracking, a lot of trying to find the space, not necessarily being found. But yeah, listen, it wasn't pretty across the board, but I'd give him a 5.
Fair enough. Sharky's gone 4. Neil's gone 5. Epic says 20 million or so. Hammerhead 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that actually brings us neatly to where we're going to finish this marking. And Larry's gone 5. Your comment is a bit self-contradicting. Don't worry about that, mate. We're a contradiction.
Brought up well but lost it. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Don't worry about it. Larry's gone 5, and Mr. Ven's in the building. How you doing, mate? He's gone 3. 3.
I'm not even listening. I ain't going back because I knew where he's going. I know what he's doing, and I am not doing it.
David Moyes. How do you mark him out?
He spelled it Vlasic. He spelled it Vlasic. He's meant to be writing BENRAHMA.
No.
Anyway.
Don't start.
Mr. Moyes, I'm afraid. Now one.
Very good.
Moyes, I'm afraid, has to take the. I am in agreement with Sharky. He got this one all wrong. He got it all wrong, Mr. Moyes. The only thing he got right in the entire game, I'm afraid to say, Scott, is that he took off Dave Benrahma. That's the only thing I felt he got right.
And he subbed off Fredericks. I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
I actually think that he made a cock up in selecting him in the first place.
He did. Yeah. The only thing he got right was taking off Benrahma, because Benrahma keep pulling out of them. Listen, if Benrahma wants to stand on the pitch, he's got to stick his foot in. He's got to go in, and he's got to run the risk of possibly getting hurt. Scott, we've had this. Go back and watch it. They should have gone. They should have gone at the same time. I'm not saying they shouldn't have done, but he obviously doesn't trust Crow enough to replace Tuchek. There is no one to replace Antonio, unfortunately, which does leave Benrahma slightly as a scapegoat. Fornells, who's awful, but still significantly better than Benrahma. Go back and have a look. We've done this.
That's fair enough.
So, no, he should, Scott. There's no way in the world he should be pulling out 50-50 challenges. I'm sorry. He shouldn't. He really, really shouldn't. You know, my 7-year-old, if I took him at football, he doesn't do football, but I'm telling you now, if I took him at football and he pulled out of the 50-50, we'd be having conversations as well. The players shouldn't be, listen, don't play out of the 50-50. You got to show that means more to you winning that ball back for your club. He pulled out 3 of them on Saturday, and it just was not good enough. But Moyes has to take the blunt, and I'm going to go with a 2.5 or a 3.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give him a 3. I think the selection of Fredericks was. I did scratch my head with it. I thought to myself, why not Johnson? That doesn't make sense to me. His performance yesterday and being subbed at halftime speaks for itself. It was a mistake. I think Johnson should have started. I also think, and it's not just in yesterday's match, but this has been building for a while. We've got a team that looks absolutely shattered. And I look and I think he's not built the squad. He's not done the business that he should have done in the transfer windows latterly and the one in the summer. And that's on him. I mean, he turned around. He's on record as saying, "Oh no, the board have backed me. The board have said, get who you want, blah blah blah." And we got no one in that last transfer window, so that I blame on him. He can't now turn around and go, well, I've got nothing to work with. He's like, well, that's your fault. Fundamentally, that is your fault. You've put yourself in that position. There's been games this season. I mean, he made 2 substitutions yesterday. He could have made 3 and rested another player, that was weary-legged. There was a game earlier this season. We made 1 substitution. When do you ever see a Premier League team making 1 substitute, Duke? Doesn't happen, does it? They use all their subs, even if it was in the 89th minute, just to waste a little bit of time, run the clock down. I can't remember the last time, other than, I say, there was a couple of games ago, we made 1 substitute in a Premier League match, and I'm like, I can't remember the last time I've seen a Premier League team make 1 substitution in a game. I just think he's being, and like I say, listen, he's done a great job, saved us from relegation twice, got us to 6, got us into Europe, last 16, blah, blah, blah. Fantastic. As far as yesterday was concerned, that's been a long time coming as far as I'm concerned. That's been bubbling away. And basically since the transfer window shut, performances have been awful. Even if we've won the game, like against Kidderminster, like against Norwich, like against Watford, even though we've won those games, it's not been great to watch. It's been really tough to watch. And it's been turgid, it's been stale, it's been lacking in invention, and I blame that totally, 100% on David Moyes. Sorry.
I've got a couple of comments on here, Casey, so I'm going to go with the first one.
Crack on.
Where is it? So many have gone before us. To be honest, I'd rather see him up the pitch creating rather than defending. I'm going to nail that one straight away with one comment. He's not even doing that, Scott. He's not creating fuck all at the minute. I'm sorry, but he's done nothing to warrant it.
Just to give you a little bit of and this is not. I'm just putting out this. I did put it out earlier in case it helps or hinders either one of your arguments, because that, if you look at where number 22 is, that was his position on average during the match yesterday. That was where Saeed Benrahma is. The only two players that were further forward. Yeah. But again, is that down to him, or is that down to David Moyes telling him this is what I want you to do?
A combination of both. At the end of the day, he's not out there creating nothing. Well, he did nothing. He's done nothing in the games that he's played, for the most part, that warrants me sitting there going, yeah, he should be. That's harsh on him. Sharky has put what range to give the atmosphere. I'd actually give it a 5. We tried at times.
I'd give it less than that.
Listen. Bubbles was banging at the start. Bubbles was banging at the start.
I'd give it a 2, and it might not. And I'm not blaming the crowd, because I was one of them. I'm not necessarily blaming the crowd, as I say.
What I said to you earlier, though, Rob, wasn't it?
What's that?
Well, I said to you earlier, we're not going to be making noise if you're not giving anything to make noise.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's always that question: should the crowd be giving a sort of like a push to the team, or should the team be giving the push to the crowd? It's a chicken and egg. Where you lay the particular blame or responsibility at is entirely up to you. And I'm not making, I'm not blaming the crowd, because, as I say, I was one of them. But it was really flat. I'd give it a 2.
Fair play. I'm going to come in with this one. I think Benrahma was correct. Thought it could produce magic moments. Didn't go 89 minutes with doing nothing and then create a moment of magic to win the game. I'm then going to come back with this comment here from Neil.
That reminds me of that comment?
Letizia.
Yes. Do you think Letizia would have survived under David Moyes? I know it's impossible to know.
Yes, because he produced that. Listen, he produced that magic moment of magic every game. He'd do nothing for 89 minutes and bang, but it happened every game from the Tiz. Okay. Be it an assist or be it a goal. Whereas Neil there corroborates my answer. He's only done that once. He's only done that once. But he's not done anything. Listen, has he done anything that really makes you go, oh yeah, that?
Well, there was the equaliser against Brighton last season. There was the goal against
this season, Rob.
Newcastle this season. There was the goal in the Europa League against, was it Genk away? Was it Genk? Or was it Rapid Vienna? Whatever. He's done it a couple of times. Has he been as consistent as, say, Matt Letizia was for Southampton back in the day? No, I can't say that he has, but I can't say that he's only done it once.
I don't necessarily agree with this one. I don't think he's taken us as far as we can go. I think he's hindering himself by not bringing in by not being able to get his number one targets, but then not having someone that can come in and still do a job. I really do think he's hindering himself. I think we can still go further with him, but he really is. He's failing because of his drive to get his number one targets and not having a backup. Yeah, I think we can go further, but I really do think that he's his own worst enemy right now. Really do. I
think Moyes is the best manager that we could get, though, right now. What I will say is I don't think that, put it this way, I've had people that have said, oh, we should get Zinedine Zidane in as a manager, Carlo Ancelotti. Listen, these guys are not going to come to West Ham. They're just not. Okay? If you think they are, mate, seriously, you're on another planet to me. There's a real short list of managers that if you produced them to me, I would say that we, A, realistically could attract them, and that B, they would actually be a good fit. It's a real short list.
I agree. Scott, completely agree. In fact, you're being polite by calling him a striker. I really don't think. Luke, spot on, mate. West Ham are like our Barnets. We've got nothing up top.
Evening, Luke.
Scott, I will acquiesce to this and fair comment. If he's off after 60 minutes, but he's not even producing anything really in 60 minutes that makes me sit up and go, maybe not. I might. Yeah, I didn't. I said Letizia did the moment of magic. Do nothing for 89 minutes and then do something special. Benny doesn't. I'm not seeing that from Benny. Very lazy. Very, very lazy. Not disagreeing with that at all. But bang, one thing it stood out.
The season contender, wasn't it? Regular as clockwork.
Unbelievable. Lionel Messi is very similar, Rob, in that same sort of thing. I consider Messi to be a very lazy player. I watched him at Upton Park. I know probably several others in the chat have done so. I watched him at Upton Park when he played against Croatia. He spent most of the game offside. Defenders switch off, and all of a sudden there's that burst of bang back into play, and then everything else develops. Again, a very lazy player. And no, I'm not comparing Saeed Benrahma to Lionel Messi. Before we even go down that road, that's not what I'm doing. Listen, Scott, you and I have spoken several times on this, on streams and everything else, and I really do value your input. And I'm, I don't want us to fall. I know we've never met. I don't want us to fall out over the fact that I think you're talking bollocks.
We're going to go down to his fine establishment down in Howe.
I don't want to fall out of him because I think he's talking bollocks, and I don't want him to fall out of me because he thinks I'm talking bollocks. You know what I mean? I like the back and forward, and I really hope to be proved wrong by Mr. Scott one day. That Benrahma, absolutely grabs the game by the scruff of its neck, and just absolutely blows me away with the performance. Unfortunately, I just haven't seen that yet. I hark back to an Ollie Watkins performance against Liverpool. That sort of performance, you know what I mean, Rob? That was a special performance from Ollie Watkins. Yeah. I'd love to see something like that from Saeed. Unfortunately, we really haven't. But at the end of the day, whether Moyes is working under his hands being tied, as Neil says there, and as Sharky comments a bit further down, he's kind of fighting against that regime. Listen, I'd love to see Saeed play 90 minutes, but he's also got to be performing in that game up until the point where Moyes is thinking about making a sub, that he really gives Moyes that headache of, I can't take him off. Putting out of 3 50-50 challenges in about 8 minutes, Moyes is now, look at you. You're the one that's coming off now. And I think that's, Benrahma's not really giving any difficulty who he's taking off, really. Got a floating bone in his kneecap.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, I've heard whispers that he's out for the season. That's what I've heard. Could be wrong, but I heard a whisper that he's done. Which, is that a bad thing for the team? Not too sure. Well, your earpiece playing around. What happened there? Oh. Wally's in the building. Hello, Walt. You all right, mate? Have you dropped out? I'm guessing you can't hear me.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you. No? Yes. You
hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
It's gone all normal, Wally, admittedly. Oh, God. Oh, God. Every time. He will never get 90, better preparing for a loan or a leave. It may well come to that. Who knows? Let's try again. You there?
Hi, how you doing? It's nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's 8 minutes.
Anyway, shall we? Because we've done the player ratings, we've had a little bit of a chat about.
That's just up here, Neil. That's up here.
Yeah. Shall we wrap it up there, old chap?
If I'm honest with you, you should always wrap it up.
Well, you may very well say that. I could not possibly comment.
Hey, listen, neither of us would be in a position where we wouldn't have the kids if we wrapped it up. Just saying.
There you go. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there. As I say, you can use whatever terminology you wish. Anything you want to say?
I love everyone in the chat. Yeah, I love everyone in the chat, and I really do appreciate the comments, and I really do appreciate them coming over. And you know, I don't mean to be confrontational sometimes. I just think that there are some that don't want to listen to a comment. And in the same way that I tend to find myself not wanting to listen to their comments. It's just one of them. So I just want to appreciate everyone that comes on.
You're welcome.
So Hell, thank you, Larry. Everyone in the chat, and there's 16 of you. So I could try Larry, Wally, Kent, Scott, Sahel, West Ham Lions 21. That was his name, wasn't it? Neil Stark. all of you. Thank you for coming. It does, Luke, Mr. Legend. It means the world to me that you guys still persevere with the absolute tosh that me and Casey put out on a regular basis.
Listen, we've had years of chatting bollocks, haven't we?
You know what? And it's only a year that we've. Oh, and Hammerhead's here. Love you too.
Don't forget Hammerhead. There you go.
Yeah, it's only been a year that we've been doing it in front of other people. It's normally just to each other that we've spent talking
chatting nonsense.
Hey, we've only been going 2 hours. Well, we ain't done one of these for a while, have
we? All right. Okay. I am going to hit end video. Before we do, Luke, what are we?
Fucking massive, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. No arguments here. Come on, you Irons. Keep the faith.